a podcast created by two guys brought together by movement, transformed into brotherhood. The boys share their authenticity as they deep dive into what it means to explore this human experience. Shedding light on personal trials and accumulated wisdom, Conscious Collingwood is meant to provoke thought and insight to expand your personal awareness. Come along for the journey as Justin and Jeff exemplify what it means to be a man living wholeheartedly, balancing the divine, masculine, and feminine. Welcome to Conscious Collingwood.
What do you use these cups for? Look at that.
Oh, look at you. Beer is poured into those cups.
Huh.
So it is. All right, well, let's go at her.
I like a fancy glass.
Yeah. Turn mine down. I have a little more bass in my voice than you.
Bass?
Bass. It's all about the bass. Slap with the bass. Here we are. Oh. Fuck, I like an old man.
When did that rib pain start? Do you remember the moment?
Probably 3 weeks ago. I was golfing and I was working on some stuff and kind of really compressing my right side. And about a day or two later, I recognized that I was a little stiff, and I was just thinking it was just muscle or ligaments, just a position I haven't been in. And I probably maybe should have done some stretching or something. And
You went in cold?
What's that?
You went in cold?
No, but I mean, just afterwards, I should have stretched it out some more. And then I think just through work and repetition and things like that, it just kind of flared up. And who knows, maybe golfing again might have aggravated it. And then,
What did Patty the Batty do to you?
yeah, well, first I had a beautiful massage with Karen. I said, I want to, you know how a slinky works? That's how I want to walk down the stairs.
Is that what you said
Yeah.
there?
I just want to be a puddle of mud. Just ooze me down the stairs when I'm done.
Yeah.
So that was great. And then, Patrick just says, I'm just all locked up in here. My obliques aren't firing, and I'm just protecting. And so he did a lot of work in 15 minutes. He really scrubbed me.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to say those things made it worse, but I think it opened up the healing process, and it's taking a little bit of time here. So, Justin, just a reminder to have so much gratitude for the body, so that when it is healthy, you take it for granted sometimes.
That's
Not that I do, but it's just a good, healthy reminder.
Yeah. One thing I know is if you're participating in life, regardless if you're participating or not, you're going to get injured.
Yeah.
It's a part of the human experience.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is part of that polarity of appreciation.
I saw something that was so simple and so great, at least it landed for me the other day. And, in life, you're going to have pain. And it was talking about athletes. Like, an athlete is always playing through pain. It's just like, oh, yeah, they're playing the game. And they're playing through pain.
Yeah.
And so we have to in life as well. It can't be comfortable all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, obviously, there's times in the peak performance of an athlete where things are humming and there's always going to be a tweak here or there, or bruising or something, right?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of UFC. I like watching fighting. And they always say, like, if you're going in there without something,
you didn't train hard enough.
Well, it's very rare. There's always something. I'm like, man, combat. That's a wild sport.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful art, though.
It is an art. It's interesting, but it's an art.
So, Jeff,
you sparked a big debate.
You sparked a debate, dude. Not a debate, but a very important conversation, I think. Because I was having dinner with Ariana last night. She was like, Jeff told me, Jeff said the other day that maybe being too that self-awareness can be a bad thing.
Having too much self-awareness.
Too much. Can you be too self-aware? And I said, that sounds like avoidance. Because I think it's avoiding a part of yourself because you're very aware. And it would be denying a part of yourself. That's what I thought.
Well, do you have more?
Oh, I have more, but you go into that.
Well, I think when I brought that up, it was in the context of pushing through resistance and just going, and following your intuition or whatever. And so when I brought that up, when I reflect on my life and some of the things I've accomplished, I wasn't thinking about the expectation of if this doesn't work out, if it does work out. I wasn't attaching myself to anything. I just went ahead and did it because it was on my heart. So whether it was, trying to go down south to golf, that didn't work out. So I came home, got a job right away as a lifty at the Blue Mountain. Got to the winter time, my boss at the golf course said, "Go to Guelph." I did that. Like I didn't question it. It felt intuitive, it felt organic, and I just followed it. But now I believe because now I've kind of established myself, I got a lot of options. And so I'm constantly questioning, well, should I go this way now or should I go that way now? Because I am a powerful manifester, and anything that I put my energy towards, it's going to happen. So I want to make sure that it's aligned with me. And I feel like I've got 3 or 4 things that align with me. So it's like, maybe do them all, maybe pick one. So that's where I'm saying this level of self-awareness can, at least for me personally, cause a little bit of chaos, So that's the context of why I brought that up.
Yeah. You want to be a flashlight or a laser pointer?
Mm.
You want to shine, like really open up or create light in a space, little impact, or big impact, laser pointer, direct, focused energy.
Well, you got me thinking.
Yeah, good.
I was talking to a friend recently, and I don't know why he brought this up, but he did. He was just talking with somebody else who might have lost their mind a little bit, become ungrounded, we'll say. And his point was, yeah, being too self-aware or just questioning everything or just whatever, being out there too much. As we've discussed before, you got to keep your feet on the ground, right? And so there's this balance between going outside yourself, whatever, living in the ether, but also you got to be present in this human experience and not pull yourself away from it too far, else you have no balance or you have no groundedness and you're floating and you have no good idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Or at least that's how you can be perceived.
Dancing in the cosmic soup. Yeah, I think you really need to be a practical human being, or you'll get nothing done. You have to remember you're a human being.
Yeah. And as I've listened to other spiritual gurus and things like that, there is that conversation of people, whether they're using psychedelics or they're constantly going to ayahuasca retreats or whatever, and no offense, but it's like they're constantly trying to escape or maybe find something else. It's like, well, what the fuck, like we came into this physical plane to experience it, so let's experience it. Let's not avoid the pain, let's not avoid the happiness, like let's just experience it all, because we're going to return to that at some point.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe it's supposed to be married together. I don't know. Maybe you're supposed to.
Oh, it's definitely supposed to be married
we're
together.
We're supposed to transcend into something else.
No.
During this lifetime.
I don't think we transcend into something else. I think we marry the two, but realize that, the greatest impact we have or can have on the planet is to realize that has to happen on the material plane.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's just so trippy. With everything we go through as humans, it's really just God. One is trying to experience itself.
Source energy.
Yeah.
Yep. The answer is yes. Go for it. I know Paul always says he defines source as love, and it's unconditional love. So you go out, murder somebody. Unconditional love. Go for it. Like, let's experience that.
Yeah.
What's there for you? That's really where you want to go down and experience, regardless of the outcome and the judgments of the reality of what that is. Yeah, it's just love trying to experience itself.
Well, as I share with you some of the struggles that we've been dealing in our house with, some external circumstances around friends and things like that, acquaintances, some backstabbing here and there. I've had to really try and reframe it for the conversation in our house that we have to have an element of compassion for these other people because they're unaware of what they're doing. And if we are going to want to retaliate or, I don't know, be ugly about it, it doesn't serve it harms us. So the fastest way we can move through this is through forgiveness and acceptance that it's happening and it's serving a purpose for us. And if we can be bigger people, it's going to serve them as well. Because in theory, they're going to maybe question, I didn't really get out of this what I thought I would, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's like,
man, I thought we were going to get more conflict.
Yeah.
I wanted conflict.
Yeah. So, and the truth always reveals itself, whether it's 10 minutes or it's 10 years.
Yeah.
That fucking truth is coming out at some point. And so that's what I've been trying to preach and ride on because I've just witnessed it too many times.
Absolutely.
So,
and that's the thing. Self-awareness right there.
Yeah. But dude, that's
like sharpening a sword, really, or a blade.
It's a hard muscle to strengthen.
Very hard. Because it's all on you. Instead of externalizing any responsibility for your own emotions.
Yeah. The toughest thing was that it's not physical abuse, so
psychological warfare.
Getting defense isn't necessary, but the psychological component of it has been pretty challenging. And so, is there a difference? I think there is because sticks and stones will break my bones. Whatever the rest of the phrase is. What is it?
Sticks and stones won't break my bones.
Words will never hurt me.
Yeah.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. You should make a T-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think in that essence, that's your work then.
Fuck yeah.
Is to detach yourself from anything.
Well, no, that's extreme. Not detach yourself from anything. I think it's important to be attached to things so that you feel something.
Sorry, I meant if this is happening, if these words are happening to you, if the psychological stuff is happening to you, to free yourself, you have to realize this is your work to move through that. Like retaliating or getting in conflict, it's not really going to solve anything.
No.
Unless that person's willing to have an open and transparent conversation, it's you're not going to get anywhere. So to move through it, you got to, work on your own stuff there.
Yeah. I think it's also, having a mediator or a very skilled therapist. If you are having those challenges with someone that's, say, it's like a family member, that could be very supportive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't imagine. I wouldn't say that it's hard, and not a lot of people are at the point of awareness where they can just forgive people for whatever psychological warfare or immaturity they have, and a lot of messes are made through people's interpretations of or how people express themselves. I don't want to say unevolved, but technically
Yeah.
You'd almost say uninvolved people, expressing themselves in ways that are hurtful towards others. And not everyone has done the introspective work to be able to take responsibility for their own actions. And I think that's the key to really ever being able to forgive anyone else or have compassion for anyone else, is like you have to be radically honest, look in the mirror, and take ownership for what you're putting out in the world before you can forgive anybody else for what they're putting out.
So something I've said recently to Tara, and I don't know if I came up with this, or not that I came up with it, but if it came through me or if I heard it somewhere. But I just do believe, or come to believe, that any sort of tension and conflict is just obviously love trying to express itself. And so when you look at the situation that we've been dealing with, it's just love trying to express itself. And you have one party that's willing to communicate, another one that isn't. When you look at both parties, there's love to be had, and whether it's together or it's individuals, love is trying to express itself.
And someone doesn't feel loved.
Exactly.
And they want to.
Yes.
Because innately, everyone is deserving of love. But when you don't feel loved, then that's when the dark side of love starts finding ways to
see me.
Yeah,
see me.
Love is a wild thing. Yeah, because it'll make you do things. It's just like crazy.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's what blows my mind sometimes. It's like, when as a child, you obviously go through a developmental process, and the ways that your parents showed you love, whether it's avoidance, there's love in avoidance, there's love in anger because it's attention. But and as a young person, you're just taking in, oh, I'm being seen when if your parents are busy and avoidant, and you make a mess, and then they're like, look at this fucking mess. Who did? I'm going to sit here until you fucking clean this up. Then they're like, oh, I got their attention. I'm going to make a mess unconsciously so that I can have my parents on their attention. And then what does that look like as they progress through the developmental phases of a human being? I find that so interesting.
That's a very good point. Our first doctor, when Ella, I believe it was with Ella, he, one of his parenting tips, because I think he had 3 or 4 kids, but one of his and obviously he sees many, many families. One of his parenting tips was, these children don't know the difference between good and bad attention. Like they're seeking it, right? So just to your point there.
Yeah. That's it.
They don't know the difference.
No.
They're just seeking that attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
To be seen is to be loved, dude.
Yeah.
Bam.
I'm having so much.
We have camera and mic trauma.
I just screwed up last time. We're okay. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Oh, mercy.
Man, your rib is bothering you.
Dude, I had trouble sleeping last night. It probably took me an hour or 2 to get to sleep. It was just uncomfortableness and starting to affect my breathing a little bit.
Don't make sure you breathe into those ribs.
Breathe in.
Yeah. Don't avoid it. Because that's just going to help circulation, healing, decompression. Well,
isn't that relative to what we're talking about?
A big fucking issue with people.
My ribs want to see. They want love.
They want. Pain is the greatest quickener of consciousness, and pain directs the flow of energy and information in the body. So, as long as you're feeling it, we're good. It'll fade. Listen
to this. I've been listening. You've been talking, but I've been also thinking, and I think you're accurate about. If I was to question if too much self-awareness is necessary or not. It is an avoidance mechanism because it becomes uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? The more aware you are, the more you see your shadows and the more you're questioning yourself, whatever, right? Yeah, I think you're right. There might be an avoidance mechanism there inside of me that brought that up.
Well,
Not that you're accusing me of that. It was in generality, but I've been contemplating about it more, and I think there might be something
but of
there.
course. And Ariana and I chatted last night about, she was like, when you get sick, as you get older, doesn't it get worse? And I was like, and what came to me was, maybe when we age, we get more self-aware. Obviously, more experience on this planet, more time in this body, listening, understanding, if you're being conscious and not avoidant. And maybe it is perceived that it's worse, but really you're just the most aware you've ever been of being sick. So you're like, fuck, like this is hard. But it was the same the whole time. You were just less evolved, a little bit more numb, and now you're less numb, a little bit more evolved. And I think it comes with the territory of growing up, regardless of what age you are, you know?
Or is it you've avoided so much in the past that it gets harder because it needs to be seen more? Does that make any sense? Like, I'm just looking at people in my life that, are dealing with challenges and stuff, and it might perceive to be harder, and it looks like it's harder because they've avoided a little smaller pain along the way. So it's compounded.
I like to say, it's hard to teach old dogs new tricks. And it's very true, especially when it comes to like self-growth. Because those neural pathways, if everything is like neurons that fire together, wire together, and if you have these strong patterns of avoidance and not being radically honest with yourself and have avoided looking into the mirror, then it's going to be really, really hard to have any sort of self-awareness at all.
I've heard Paul say that too in a podcast. It's like, whether a client comes to him or they don't, he just recognizes that you get to a threshold where it's like, there's no turning back.
Yeah.
Like you're unrepairable to some degree.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's why Paul throws someone into the medicine. That's when he is the psychedelics. He'll be like, we're going to shake the world up here for you. Yeah.
That's funny. Let's get cray-cray.
But that's actually a really good thing about mushrooms or whatever psychedelics you're choosing to participate in, is it takes you into a deep experience of feeling. And I always say feeling is believing. So if you feel like, when I first did mushrooms, I felt love for the first time. And I don't think I ever felt self-love like that ever in my life. And then that feeling initiated my desire to grow and have introspection and look in the mirror.
Was it self-love? What was the love you were feeling, or just
self-love, dude? I was like, wow, life is beautiful, and I haven't one opportunity to experience it. And if I keep going down the path I'm going, it's just going to keep getting worse because my health was so bad. Sleep apnea, asthma, anxiety, like riddled with it. So, yeah. Look at this.
Did you have a lot
Free,
of
baby.
So you have this self-love recognition now. Was there a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like anger towards those that maybe didn't give it to you? Or was it enough like, oh, that was just stepping stones to get me to where I am so I can recognize myself? Like,
well, that was the unwinding process, was seeing people for the part that they had to play in my development, aka wanting to be loved. I just wanted to be loved. and forgiving, and knowing that love really comes from within, and um, creating boundaries with people that don't have the capacity or the ability or the experience to give love or have any self-reflection to understand that I was able to see how people give love to themselves and others, whether it was good or bad.
Yeah.
Like some people love me by putting me down, you know? And it says more about them than it does me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was understanding myself and then being able to see like how love is expressed in others, and that gave me a lot of peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it is so healing and beautiful and almost comical that when you do look back in your life and something at the time that was just felt so painful and you wouldn't wish on anybody else, but you experienced it and you look back and go, oh my God, how, and then you have such gratitude for that situation
Mm-hmm.
or a period in your life. You're like, holy fuck, like I'm not who I am now without that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like there's a, it's yeah, it's very divine and that's why I say it's kind of comical because it's just like the polarity in it.
Dude, I know. This is a little bit vulnerable, but I think it serves a point. My biological father was not the most enjoyable person to be around as a child, and um, I've been quite avoidant to that relationship just due to his needs and how he gives love. Um, and so I'm pretty sure I'm the only one he talks to in my family, like, well, between my brother and I, you know that. And so he'll text me a lot and just like he needs some sort of connection. And so I had a tarot reading with Alex like 2 weeks ago. And Alex was like, "Okay, what's going on with your dad?" And I was like, "Oh, interesting." He's like, "There's something that's unresolved, and it has less to do with you and more to do with him." He's like, "Just clear the air, and yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good." So, um, yeah, I won't. So I decided, yeah, I'll shoot him a text, and I just shared like, "Hey, my avoidance to you isn't because I don't love you any less. I'm so proud of you and how you have, you know, evolved as a man, but I can't give you the attention that you're looking for every day." Um, and yeah, I'm trying to build something. I'm trying to make something of myself. So I love and appreciate you, and I hope that this is received well. And he received it really well.
Wow.
Yeah. And he now will like send me fucking texts and pictures of his pot plants on his balcony and fucking random shit and be like he'll be like, "Look at this," and then be like, "No response needed," you know? So it's been really great. And yeah, it's like how to navigate those things.
And it's one of those things that if there was enough trauma experience or whatever else, like I think you're doing an admirable thing, but at the same time you don't necessarily owe him anything, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And there might be enough damage done where this is just a surface level connection, and he gets a little bit out of it for what he needs, and that will be enough because it's hard to rewind the clock, right? And
It's hard to rewind the clock, and I think for me, I just need to see more. He needs to evolve a lot more before we open up the boundaries that I've put in place to protect myself for a relationship that I find is fulfilling.
Yeah.
To me.
I like that. That's very mature and balanced. Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
And selfish because you need to be.
You have to be selfish.
In a situation.
Man, yeah. selfish versus selfless. That's a fucking conversation. Because most people would be like, you put a boundary in place and you're not talking to your biological father? Like, yeah. And I'm happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems just fine.
Yeah, dude.
I think it's okay to, for your own self, have an expectation for people, regardless of blood or not. You know?
Well, it's that saying that, in this moment, somebody is doing the best they can
Yeah.
with what they have.
Yeah.
And that's where you can have compassion for somebody, because if you can lean into that and recognize it, like even the anger this person's expressing, they're doing their best. Because if they could do better, they would be. But this is where they are right now.
Yeah.
So have compassion for that. I mean, that's really helped me in a couple relationships outside of our house. And yeah, when I heard that line, it just really helped open me up and have, compassion that wasn't there, and recognize this person's going through a lot, and yeah, they're not doing it to be malice. It's
Wow.
just what they're doing to survive right now.
Yeah. So their level of enlightenment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So all you can do is be your best person, be your best version of yourself, and hopefully it radiates and has an impact, and is what it is.
I think coming back to it, I think self-awareness is unavoidable. And it's a gift. As long as it's like the Spider-Man quote, with great power comes great responsibility, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it's up to you to avoid it or embrace it.
Yeah. I think yes, everybody has it, but are you listening or not?
Yeah. Great power comes great responsibility. That's all I hear in my mind. I'm like, yes, Uncle Ben.
And then he got mugged and shot.
Fuck, I know. That's, you know what? That was probably the greatest loss I ever felt in my life until I actually had some real loss. No, true. It's like a sad moment, you know?
Oh.
If no one's dying and then a good character dies in a story, you're like,
yeah.
That's why I knew I was always going to be a softie.
Figure, yeah. Jesus. Oh.
I'm a liquids guy.
Yeah. I'm just taking a moment to breathe into these ribs.
As you should, because they're healing. But and you're a double Aries, man. You're a go-getter.
Yeah, I'm something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was I really enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah, it was deep. I'm glad I was able to help spark a conversation between two friends.
Three.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're involved, bud.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could act as a conduit for greater understanding. Because I was quite confused when I first heard it. I was like, because Ariana posed the question, and then I had to work through it for a while. You know? And it wasn't until today that I was like, yeah, I think I got a solid grapple on this.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a tough one. Because self-awareness is a lot. And it would be a lot. It would be nice to avoid having to feel so much.
Yeah. Did you understand my context though? To the naivety of piece I was talking about? Like, yeah, but
maybe. No, second.
Well, you know what? There's like, as a kid and a teenager growing up, you really don't know the difference. So maybe it isn't naive. It's just a lack of self-awareness So you're just following, and then contrast will present itself, and you can learn from that, and it just strengthens your self-awareness. So maybe there is awareness there.
There's always awareness.
Yeah, there's awareness there. It's not naive.
No. There's awareness or there's avoidance of your awareness. And that just becomes numbing, suppression. We know
I feel a little high right now, taking that all in.
Yeah.
Just solved a little riddle there.
Solved a little riddle. Yeah, awareness is essential.
Yeah. Oh, that's going through my head right now. Yeah, it's painful, man. It's painful when you recognize it.
Yeah.
If you have decisions to make and you're questioning and you're, did I portray myself the best I could in this situation? The challenge with me too is I'm a deep thinker. I think I always have been. When I played golf, I enjoyed playing by myself because I was just out there. As we've expressed before, speaking, it's we're both kind of introverts to some degree. We can get out there and socialize, but we like our alone time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so deep thoughts are always around me, and the older I get, the more I seem to think and about everything, and yeah.
I think the more you think more because you care. Because you're like, fuck, I got an opportunity here.
Yeah.
It's life.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you're going to be a deep thinker. And then what I notice is from my awareness comes a little bit of shame. Because I'll question if I'm doing enough. Or am I expressing myself as authentically as possible?
Yeah, that shame where I was just going to bring that up, but yeah, we chatted briefly on the phone before we got here. And I've had a couple things reflected to me, and not in a malice way, but just, the mirror.
That's what friends are for.
And I woke up this morning with a little bit of shame, just wondering, if I could have done things differently, or whatever. It's just been reflected to me. Or the shame is there, and it's an opportunity to pivot and move through it, right? Or transition with this pattern of excessive work and whatever else.
The only time you should ever hold shame is if you wallow in it too long.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Tie your shoes and keep walking.
Yeah.
It's knowing that you're in the process of becoming.
Mm-hmm.
You have to unwind this, or it's not ever. Nothing's given.
Yeah.
You have to feel this.
Mm-hmm.
Inspire you to keep moving forward in your life.
What was it I thought we were talking about? Around shame, but it was the polarity of it. Oh, that's where it was. I think, at least I felt this morning a little bit, maybe a majority of where my shame was being felt was taking life too seriously, because I've been caught in that cycle of, we've had some complicated situations and dealing with things, and I mean, we all do. But being able to zoom out and see it, it's like, oh, you just took this a little too seriously. Like, if you could have been a little more lighthearted, whatever else. But then that's me poo-pooing on myself, and it's like, this is the human experience. You just can't. You're in it. How do you just? If you just zoom out and detach yourself from that, then that's the what we just spoke about.
Yeah.
You're ungrounded and you're not experiencing. You're avoiding the pain, or you're avoiding the conflict, and that's where the growth is. And so, but at the same time, I suppose once I dissolved or resolved some of that, able to step back and go, you took that really seriously when you probably didn't have to.
Yeah.
And so that's that fucking polarity of like, I said to you, it's like, I think we all take life too seriously, but you have to take this life seriously if you're going to amount to anything or have an impact on your family, your friends, your community. Like, It is serious, but then it isn't.
That's the funny thing, I know.
A
Yeah.
fucking meteor gonna hit this Earth tomorrow, and it's like, it wasn't worth all this shit.
That's so fun. Fuck. I worked so hard.
Yeah. So that's the fun of it. It's just like,
Yeah, yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah. There's a gift in being able to hover 30 feet above every situation, be able to take all that information and then bring it back into the earthly plane.
Mm-hmm.
But that's part of being human. It's navigating all these the functions, hormones, emotions, the reality of being in this vessel. It's quite confusing. You know, you're fucking hungry. You've sexual desires. You have psychological intrigue. Like, you have all these emotions and you're trying to grapple with them fucking constantly. Your hormones, like, you got stress hormone in the morning and then it peaks and then you're dipping for the rest of the day and then, oh, you want a coffee, so you spike it again. And then it's like, holy fuck, we have to navigate a lot. You don't really realize.
Mm-hmm.
And you got shame, you got psychological stress, you got work stress, you got financial stress, you got relationship stress. It's all compounding.
Yeah. Geez, what's coming to me is just like that's our evolution is, and self-awareness is, finding security and stability. And you think about it, if we, we're living in caves and just surviving, your self-awareness is just like, I need to, defend my family and our tribe.
Yep.
And hunt and provide.
The easier life, the easier life has gotten, the more we get to play in these realms.
Mm-hmm.
But we're working with old technology in a very modern world, and if we don't take care of the vessel or the machine that we get to experience life through, then fuck. But it's all back to, we were meant for survival and simplicity.
Yeah.
It's hot, it's cold, there's no food, there's no water.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go find it.
Yeah. Yeah. Terry's my wife. She's working through her own stuff and whatever else. And one of the things she brought up recently is just, she used the word ordinary. Like, she just wants to experience ordinary life. Not that she doesn't want to travel and do these things, but it's like all that stuff. And not that I'm putting words in her mouth, but it's just keeping things simple. Like, not taking for granted that, the time we can have with our daughters while they're still in our house and before they go off and travel or go to school and do their thing, and, the sitting on the deck and having a conversation, like just really being present with life and not worrying about, oh, we got to take the fancy trip or we got to keep up with the Joneses and stuff like that, right? And I thought it was very beautiful, and it was great to hear, and just a reminder that like this is important.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what we're driving or, where we're living and that sort of stuff. So, of course, that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you want to experience all that. But that stuff will manifest itself. It'll be the byproduct if you take care of the basics and keep things simple.
Yeah.
And Paul's talked, everybody's talked about that really works with people. It's, you meet a lot of unhappy billionaires. They don't know who they are.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to accumulate the wealth they have.
Sure.
They would probably trade it all for maybe the self-awareness I have and the groundedness and the family
love
I have, right? So, what is it? Can you have both? I think you definitely can.
Yeah. Fulfillment. That's an interesting thing. Are you ever really fulfilled? I don't know if it's possible.
That's a good question.
Presence, I think, is the most powerful. That's, if I think of fulfillment, like how would I feel fulfilled, or when do I feel most fulfilled is when I'm present. Whether it's like, it's funny the things you have to do to find like real presence. Like sometimes taking yourself out of, the mundane or your daily life because it's so unconscious. Like, we do this and then this and then this and then this. But like what comes to me is like going on a camping trip or something and sitting around the fire, being so present. Like, wow, life is good.
Yeah.
And you're sleeping in a fucking tent.
Yeah.
You know? That's funny.
I don't know if I shared this, and I will again if I did. But it was a few weeks ago. I was, I had a late day, and I worked pretty hard, and I was pretty tuckered out, and maybe wallowing in self pity of how hard I was working and shit. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But I came home, and we got a little veggie garden going, and I have irrigation there, but there's a couple hot spots that don't get hit. And so I just had my garden hose out, and I was just watering, and I was just crouched on my knees, and I was just all of a sudden I was just covered in bliss of where I was and looking at the backyard I've created and the house that we have and the family we built, and I'm just sitting here just watching water come out of the hose and just like, it fucking doesn't get any better than this. Like, it was a little high I had. It was just like, I am so grateful for it all. So to your point, like those, like that, it fired me up, it gave me, enthusiasm for life and just that element of appreciation. And all I was doing was just watering the garden.
Yeah.
But to your point, I felt very fulfilled. I was like, oh, this feels good.
Do you think it's because you fully participated in that day?
Yeah, likely, yeah.
Yeah. So the real question is, are you fully participating? Are you participating in your life?
Scold them.
I'm saying, there's days I don't. That's okay.
I don't know if you can every day. You burn yourself out.
Yeah. Yeah, you will.
Go all the time. You need to. I've learned.
But the funny thing is, you are.
But you are going, yeah.
But you are.
Even when you're resting, you're going.
You're moving forward.
Yeah.
That was beautiful, Jeff. God, that was a great conversation. Self-awareness. What are your takeaways? Is it good? Is it bad?
Yeah, I think it was reflected to me that, no, of course it's good. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I was just saying, but if I have a couple different options, I'm going to continue to question myself and worry about it and everything else, then it can become an issue.
Yeah.
But maybe that's not self-awareness. There's other issues there.
Yeah. There's healing there.
Yeah. Worried about external judgment, or is this going to work out? Am I going to lose money doing this? Those are scarcity mindset type things. So that's not a self-awareness thing.
No.
Those are other issues. Yeah. I kind of like that I dissolve that issue around being naive. I don't think that was accurate.
No.
Well, why didn't you say it before?
Because it's not for me to tell you. It's for you to come.
You didn't fucking know.
No, I didn't agree with you. But I think one thing I know is nobody likes when you say like, you point a finger or try to be like, no, it's this way, my way, blah, blah, blah. And I don't actually ever really know. I think through conversation, curiosity, you're able to unfold and unwind it and for both parties to understand it better, because I think there was a lot for me to learn.
Yeah.
In that.
So on the topic here of self-awareness, then, do you want to reflect on the questions we asked each other here last night about what you learned about yourself this week?
What did I learn about myself this week?
Did you share that last night? Because it's a really good question.
Yeah, it's a good question. What did I learn about myself? What I'm learning about myself is how. The funny thing is, like, it is the process of overcoming this resistance that I've held on for so long. To sit down and do my work, and heal those child parts of me that were have a lot of shame and um, pain around intellectual work. That's something I'm in the process of learning about myself, and just holding a lot of compassion and love. And I think it's just sitting down, doing a little bit of work, and being proud of myself in each and every moment. Learning. That's what I'm learning about myself. I'm learning how to love again, which is really beautiful. Feel safe in love, which is amazing. It's, yeah, when you find yourself in a relationship and everything's like so amazing and so good. I don't mean to be bragging, but it is like, it's just honest. Like the communication, the understanding, the love that you have for each other, the support, the kindness, compassion, and yeah, all that comes along with, which is funny. Like in my New Year's mandala, there were 4 little green diamonds, and green is love on the crown. Green means love. To one big diamond. And so Angie, Paul's wife, said, it looks like 2 balanced people coming to love. And that's exactly what's been happening. And it's almost like you question it, because it's like, is it too good to be true? But no, it's not. And you're safe in love.
Yeah.
So
that's beautiful.
Those are the things I'm learning about myself. I'm in the practice of experiencing. How about you, Jeff? What are you learning about yourself?
Well, I was sharing how recently for me, it has been a lot of heavy energy in our house, and busy with work and everything else. And even though I have a great view from 30,000 feet, I still feel like my connection to source has been like a little corroded. It's just like I can feel it, but it's just a little rusty, a little clogged. And I've had a lot of resistance around this triathlon. And so ran the other day, and then on the Sunday, this past Sunday, I procrastinated for like 2 hours trying to just go run 5K. Like I really did everything I could to fucking distract myself. I had my shoes on and everything, and I finally was just like, all right, bitch.
I think every runner
just do it.
Feels that.
And who knows, Goggins might have popped into my head and said, can you just go start running, please?
Yeah.
Please
start running.
Just start. So then the next morning I woke up a little more fired because I felt good after the run, and I went and ran 10K and had a good time, and that felt good. But I had a lot of stuff revealed to me in that run, and it just reminded me that, we're in these funks or a little bit of heaviness, like just moving that body, maybe excessively, moves that energy, and I was due for it, and it felt good. But what was revealed to me is how I still limit myself, whether that's, having a scarcity mindset around, I don't have time to do this, I don't have the money to do this, what do I have to do why do I have to prove this to myself? So, like, why do we have to do anything? We live in a pretty efficient world. Like, why do anything? Well, that's the downfall of our society right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so limiting myself came to mind, and I recognized, so on my last lap I was running, I for some reason just started out loud sharing I am statements, and it was very powerful for me. And so I almost got through the whole lap saying I am, powerful, and I am a powerful creator, and all some other nice, beautiful things, and to the point where I was giving myself chills. Like, it was that impactful for me.
Wow.
But the last one that came up for me was I am worthy. And so I was recognizing that I don't think I feel worthy in certain situations or in certain aspects of my life, whether that's worthy of more abundance, more self-love. I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe I'll keep some of this stuff personal myself, but
Yeah.
there's a worthiness aspect to my limiting mindset. So that was beautiful to become aware of. You know?
I'm proud of you for having the courage to speak those into the world.
Yeah.
Everything's vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Down to the atom.
Yeah.
Your cells are listening, Jeff.
But what tripped me out is just like how impactful it was, because like and I'm soaked in sweat because it was pretty warm out, but like the chills I got, and you know, certain statements had more severe chills, which means it might resonate with me more.
Yeah.
You know,
the vibration of whatever you were sharing was hitting.
Yeah.
It's hitting you a little different.
Yeah. So I definitely have a lot more enthusiasm around the triathlon, and not that I didn't, but I was resisting it for whatever reasons that I already mentioned there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And the other thing that came up for me too is, you know, of course there's still courses I can take and retreats I can participate in, and I'll do those when they feel aligned. But I'm like, what if this is a pretty cost-effective retreat for me? So I got to buy a road bike, because I haven't done that yet. I got to get a wetsuit. So there's a couple tools I have to get for this, and I'll be able to use them beyond. But I'm going to have another 6 weeks of training. I could be putting myself through a 6-week retreat.
Yeah.
And I'm the guide.
You're the guide, baby.
It's the universe is the guide, right?
Yep.
So I don't have to go spend X amount of thousands of dollars to go travel somewhere. It's like, that bitch is in my backyard. It's in my head.
Yeah.
That retreat's in my head.
Yep.
So that was kind of fun. It's like
6 weeks is a lot of time.
Fuck yeah. And I kind of feel like I want to document it, whether I share that documentation or I just have it for myself. But yeah, like let's journal on this and maybe even voice record stuff and see what comes up.
I think you should.
Because it is about the journey. And when Karen was, when I was doing the massage with her, because she's in her season of triathlons and doing amazing, and that was the one piece of advice she gave, was just enjoy the journey. Like it's not about really the finish. And I think we all recognize that, or most of us that are paying attention in life, it's not about the destination. Because once that bitch is over, it's like, well, it's over. Like I just completed this. It's paying attention to all the stuff leading up, and what'll show up for you afterwards.
Dude, I recorded my first little comedy, little stand-up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you after. But it talks about people and exercise and how I see people just going for a sweat, fucking going hard and fast, and really it lacks intimacy, which is the presence of the experience. And I think we're all gonna finish, but it just seems unenjoyable.
Yeah. Some finish sooner than others.
Yeah, that's true. Why do you want to finish so fast?
Yeah, enjoy it. That's a great metaphor.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, take it slow.
Yeah.
Breathe together. Brilliant.
Breathe into those ribs.
Oh, dude, that's funny. Yeah, I gotta pee.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
This was awesome.
What did you learn about yourself this week?
Yeah,
And
that's
it's a
a
great
good
question
question.
to ask yourself every week. What did you learn about yourself?
Yeah, because if you ain't learning, you're avoiding. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Probably. But you're always learning if you're really honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Sick, dude.
Thanks, bro.
Oh, that was fun. Woo!
Thank you for being with us. We love recording these podcasts. If you know anyone who would resonate with today's episode, we would be grateful if you would share it with them. If you have any questions or comments, do not be shy and reach out. We would love to connect with you. Until next time, be well, love yourself, and live consciously.